Good day. Reed here. Thanks for joining me. Another walkabout at Orchestra Farm. And I had an interesting moment last night where I was at my men's group and I just celebrated a birthday somewhat recently, and two of the other guys also have birthdays. This is cool. That they just celebrated. Love mushrooms. Oh my gosh, that is beautiful, huh? Anyway, and they sang each of us happy birthday, or like whatever it was. He's a jolly good fellow. That's the one. And then they each took a moment to appreciate us in some way or share impressions, kind of a thing about us. One thing that came up a bunch was for myself, when I was being creative and being authentic and doing things my way, good old Frank Sinatra stuff. And I was like, I see that. I've kind of been told that most of my life, and it's good to hear that it's still occurring. I recently, I released an album called Delta of Becoming this year, which is up on my Bandcamp. You can find the link for it in the description. And somebody followed me there just the other day, which I love when that happens. So if you're out there and you haven't done that and you want to support me in some way, that's one of the great ways to do that. And, the album is very unique, and it pulls in a lot of these different aspects of how I like to create, and it's one variation of that. And the fellow was going into who subscribed and followed me there, kind of mentioned that sort of a thing of how, like, wow, this is so different, and they were really enjoying it. And it's done in this really original way, which is similar to a review that took place from a magazine that comes out. I'll have that up on my website pretty soon for everybody. And it got me thinking how, I think that the concept for this album is going to turn into a series of albums, and how it's, in my mind, an extension of the science fiction genre. Oh, now let's look over here for a second. I'm actually going to turn the camera around. Watching these videos for a while, you'll know that there used to be like a 30-foot tall willow there, and it's gone. I'll walk over there in a second. There's a little gate. It is... No, where is it? There it is. Those two posts that are like all janky looking, you can kind of see the gate on it, and the barrier below it has allowed beavers to get through. No! So I want to protect my hickory and pecan and walnuts that are over there, and hazelnuts too, none of which have produced any nuts on them. But maybe in another decade or so. I probably won't be here at that point. We'll see how it goes. Unclear. But coming back around, that, like, having done that one album in that particular way, I realized that, like, I actually like to switch up my methodologies. So my next album is going to be entirely different, and I'm going to start releasing that. It's actually more of an EP soon, but that notion of, how do we bring our authentic self to bear, and are we allowing others' perspectives or societal norms or anything like that to get in the way? And the notion of, a lot of people fear public speaking as a primary thing. To which, like, this is certainly some aspect of that. And the notion of, I think in that same kind of way, even more than that, is the fear of just being yourself and exploring who one is. I think a lot of people are just kind of going along with things, and they might get an inkling to go and explore some oddity in themselves, and then they don't, because they think, oh gosh, someone will think I'm weird, or whatever the storyline is that goes through their mind. So I just want to encourage everybody out there to explore who you are. And, as I was telling my daughter, who was asking, like, what's a nerd? I was just like, it's somebody who has an active interest in a given area, and they kind of learn as much as they possibly can about that. And so it could be someone who's like, into football, so they learn all their favorite football players' stats and things like that. I'm like, but the difference between like a nerd and someone who's like might be a nerd but is also thoroughly engaged in the thing is like, a nerd's not necessarily doing the thing. So like, they're not necessarily playing football. A nerd might be like interested in science but not actually doing science. And with that, like, the encouragement that I'm offering is to not only be a nerd and to be really informed on whatever your interest set is. Actually, I'm gonna go eat this apple. But to also actively engage in it. And, if you want to be super bold, put that out there. Share that with those around you. This apple looks really good. It's a Granny Smith. Let's see. Because to me, that's what makes the world a better place, is when we take those interests. That was good. We really engage in them. And then share that with those either around us or in the space where others are interested in it. Which is reminding me, I think, there's a poetry reading thing I want to go to this Thursday. With that, thanks for joining me here. Thanks for subscribing to this channel. I appreciate everyone who's been recently doing that. It means a lot. And I hope that you all have too much fun.